69. I think he was born in 69. Beyonce, they said she was born in 81. You understand? But back then, in 81, when we was in the club together, 98, 99, she wasn't even supposed to be in the club, but she was in the club. And Jay was dating her. And at that time, if you look at Jay's age, he was about 30 years old. So, isn't she still somewhat a child? To me, she is.
Well, I'll tell you this. I've been asked that before, and this is true with Kelly and Solange. I never got involved with their personal relationships.
Did Jay-Z really try to silence Mathew Knowles over Beyonce's underage relationship? Y'all, Gene Deal just spilled some jaw-dropping tea. And if what he's saying is true, this story might change the way we look at one of hip-hop's biggest power couples. From backstage secrets to industry whispers, Gene's claims are sending shockwaves. And trust me, things are about to get real messy. Let's break it all the way down. In a recent interview with Art Dialogue, Gene Deal didn't hold back when asked about Jay-Z's past. According to him, people in the industry have been talking for years about how Jay-Z allegedly started dating Beyoncé when she was just 17 or 18. Back then, Jay-Z was already in his 30s, making the whole situation highly questionable. Gene pointed out that during the late 90s, Beyoncé was frequently spotted in clubs where she shouldn't have even been allowed, given her age. But that's not all. Gene claimed that Jay-Z wasn't just casually hanging around Beyoncé. He was actively dating her while she was still a teenager. And if those rumors about her true age are accurate, things might be even more complicated. Some speculate that Beyoncé might be older than she claims, with Gabrielle Union once hinting that she and Beyoncé went to junior high together, which would mean Beyoncé is several years older than she's publicly acknowledged. Either way, Gene's revelations add a whole new layer to the timeline of their relationship. The timeline Gene described paints a murky picture of Jay-Z and Beyoncé's early relationship. If Gene's claims are accurate, it means Jay-Z was already in the industry for a decade when he allegedly started pursuing Beyoncé. Back in those days, Jay was known for keeping a low profile about his personal life, but behind the scenes, industry insiders were apparently well aware of his relationship with a then-teenage Beyoncé.
The girl information may not be totally right, because I know in 2000 what she just said, and me being there and around, I know the atmosphere, I know the players, and I know how we moved and how we didn't move.
And to make things worse, Gene suggested that Mathew Knowles, Beyoncé's father and then manager, wasn't too happy about the relationship. Allegedly, there were attempts by Jay-Z to silence Mathew and prevent him from speaking out. Whether it was about protecting Beyoncé's image or keeping the relationship under wraps, the tension between Jay and Mathew was reportedly intense. This isn't the first time questions have been raised about Jay-Z and Beyoncé's early years. For years, fans have speculated about how and when their relationship truly began. Some believe that the couple's public timeline doesn't add up, and Gene's interview only fuels those suspicions. But Gene's not just throwing shade for clout. He's been in the industry long enough to know the players and the game. He mentioned how, during those years, he was around Jay-Z and saw firsthand how things went down. And according to him, the atmosphere at the time was sketchy, to say the least. But that's not all. Gene Deal's claims have resurfaced a much larger controversy surrounding Jay-Z's history, specifically about his relationship timeline with Beyoncé. Even back then, people raised eyebrows about their age gap. While fans were quick to label their relationship as couple goals, others couldn't ignore how young she was when they got together. And now, with Gene's statements, it's adding even more fuel to the ongoing debate about whether Jay-Z's past relationships deserve a closer look.
Get right into it. How did two of the biggest names in music even meet?
Well, we met a long time ago. Award shows, a lot of different performances.
What's even more troubling is how this narrative connects to Jay-Z's current legal battles. As you might have heard, Jay is currently facing a serious federal lawsuit alongside Diddy. A woman has accused them of SA her when she was just 13 years old at an after-party following the 2000 MTV Music Awards. Both Jay-Z and Diddy have denied the allegations, but the heat hasn't died down.
So this unidentified Jane Doe has sued both Jay-Z, Sean Carter, and Sean Diddy Combs. This is out in New York. This is out in New York federal court, to be more specific. And she is claiming that when she was just 13 years old, she was by both of these musicians.
To make matters worse, Jay-Z recently filed another motion to dismiss the case. His legal team is pointing out alleged inconsistencies in the woman's story, arguing that her account doesn't hold up under scrutiny. They've even gone so far as to request monetary sanctions against her lawyer, Anthony Busby, accusing him of filing the suit without properly investigating the claims. Jay's camp insists this is nothing more than a blackmail attempt aimed at damaging his reputation and forcing a payout.
Jay-Z has officially petitioned the court to dismiss the assault lawsuit against him and also to impose sanctions upon the Texas attorney who has come after him.
But here's the thing. Despite Jay-Z's aggressive legal strategy, the allegations have already cast a long shadow over his public image. Even though the woman admitted in a recent interview that she may have made some mistakes in identifying key details, she still stands by her core story that something traumatic happened to her that night. Whether or not the inconsistencies are enough to get the case dismissed remains to be seen, but the damage to Jay-Z's reputation is already done.
Because this has been an ongoing legal war between Busby and Jay-Z and his legal team. Accusations that Busby engaged in extortion, that his firm pressured a client to lie, that Jay-Z's camp has been engaging in intimidation and harassment.
And let's not forget the bigger picture here. This isn't just about one lawsuit or one woman's claims. It's about the long history of allegations and whispers surrounding powerful men in the music industry. Jay-Z's connection to someone like R. Kelly, his relationship timeline with Beyoncé, and now these fresh allegations are painting a picture that's hard to ignore. This isn't the first time Jay-Z's relationship timeline has come under fire. Nick Cannon, during a sit-down with Dame Dash, brought up the topic, asking pointed questions about Foxy Brown's age when she signed with Rockefeller. While Cannon was clearly implying something deeper, Dame Dash deflected, insisting that he had nothing to do with Foxy signing and telling Cannon to take his questions to Jay-Z directly.
At what age was Foxy Brown signed?
I don't fucking know. I wasn't paying attention to Foxy Brown.
Yeah, but that's...
I didn't sign Foxy Brown.
I know
Stop
you did.
putting
I'm
me in
just
that.
asking a
You keep
question.
asking because I'm on the block. I'm responsible for everybody. I don't know
You the
nothing about
boss.
that. I wasn't. Oh, now I'm the boss.
The moment went viral, with 50 Cent chiming in on social media, accusing Dame of stirring up unnecessary drama. But the conversation reignited old rumors about Jay-Z's past relationships with younger women. But that's not all. There's been long-standing chatter that the fallout between Jay-Z and Dame Dash wasn't just about business. According to insiders, it had a lot to do with Jay's questionable relationships. Dame's recent revelations suggest that Jay's decision to work with R. Kelly, despite everyone knowing about his shady past with Aaliyah, was a breaking point. Dame claimed that he couldn't understand why Jay was so comfortable associating with someone like R. Kelly, who had allegedly taken advantage of his ex, Aaliyah, when she was only 15.
Did Jay know about what he did to Aaliyah?
Did he know that everybody knew R. Kelly married Aaliyah at 15? Everybody knew that. So was the conversation had like, yo, how you gonna go and do something with this dude? Hell yeah, that conversation was had.
To make things worse, word on the street is that Jay himself had a thing for Aaliyah, even after everything that happened with R. Kelly. This just adds another layer to the drama. It's no wonder Dame walked away from Rockefeller. He couldn't stand by while Jay was cozying up to someone with such a controversial history. This whole situation paints Jay-Z in a very different light. If he was cool working with R. Kelly back then, despite knowing all the disturbing details, it makes you wonder what else he was willing to overlook. It's wild to think that Dame Dash, one of Jay's closest allies at the time, felt so betrayed that he was willing to give up everything just to distance himself from that mess.
That didn't happen. I was like, yo, how you gonna do a project with my mother girl? We had the conversation. Why would you still with someone that raped your girl? Would you still do anything with that person? So why would anyone expect me to?
And now, with Gene Deal's claims coming to light, it feels like all these old skeletons are being dragged out of the closet. From the fallout with Dame Dash to the resurfacing rumors about underage relationships, it's clear that Jay-Z's past is catching up with him in a big way. Another key player in this story is Beyoncé's father, Mathew Knowles. For years, Mathew has stayed relatively quiet when it comes to the early stages of Beyoncé's relationship with Jay-Z. But according to industry insiders, insiders, that silence might not be by choice. There are rumors that Mathew was initially against the whole relationship, believing Jay-Z wasn't the right fit for his daughter. Allegedly, he wasn't comfortable with Beyoncé being linked to someone with Jay-Z's background. After all, Jay had a reputation as a gangster rapper, and Mathew reportedly didn't want any part of that for his teenage daughter.
I never got involved with their personal relationships. I can only say as a father that I hope I instilled with them the values that they would want to look for in a man.
But here's where things get even more interesting. Word on the street is that Beyoncé and Jay-Z's relationship may have started as more of a strategic move than a true love story. Allegedly, the idea of them becoming a power couple was orchestrated by Tina Knowles, with Mathew initially opposing the arrangement. It's said that Mathew wasn't on board with the marriage because he believed it was driven by business motives rather than genuine love. However, given Jay-Z's growing influence and Beyoncé's rising fame, Mathew may have been forced to back off to protect his daughter's career, even though Mathew later tried to downplay the controversy by claiming he didn't interfere in Beyoncé's personal life. His past interviews suggest otherwise. While he didn't directly call out Jay-Z, he hinted that he had concerns about who his daughters were dating, but ultimately trusted that he had instilled good values in them. Despite his efforts to shift the narrative, many fans still believe that Mathew's initial hesitation toward Jay-Z stemmed from deeper concerns about his reputation and influence.
The song Daddy, that she hoped that she found someone just like her daddy. How do you know I'm not a gangster or used to be a gangster? I've been in the music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters.
But that's not all. There's speculation that Jay-Z's gangster image wasn't just a passing phase. Some say that this was part of what made him attractive to Beyoncé's team in the first place. With Jay-Z's street credibility and Beyoncé's polished image, they could craft a power couple dynamic that dominated not just music, but also fashion, business, and pop culture. Over time, this pairing proved to be extremely successful, helping them amass massive wealth and influence across multiple industries.
Beyonce is losing hundreds of thousands, millions of followers every day. And she still hasn't said anything, just pretending like life is great in Paris.
Is it her place to say so?
I mean, probably not, considering she's gonna be indicted for anything she would say.
However, Mathew's reluctance to fully embrace Jay-Z as his son-in-law isn't something that's easily forgotten. Behind the scenes, people close to the family have whispered about tensions stemming from Jay-Z's past and his connection to certain figures in the music industry. And with Gene Deal now throwing shade at Jay-Z for allegedly silencing Mathew about the early days of his relationship with Beyoncé, it makes you wonder, was Mathew pressured to stay quiet to protect the Carter empire? And that's not all. If y'all remember the 2014 elevator incident at the Met Gala, Solange wasn't just randomly throwing hands at Jay-Z for no reason. That moment had everyone talking. But what if it wasn't just a heated argument? What if Solange was fed up with years of seeing Jay-Z's toxic behavior behind closed doors? Some sources believe she had every reason to confront him that night, especially if she knew about his past with her sister. Allegedly, Solange was well aware that Jay-Z had gotten involved with Beyoncé when she was still younger. And as more rumors of his infidelity surfaced, things only got worse. By 2014, it wasn't just about one incident. It was about years of frustration. Solange had likely seen the cracks in their relationship long before the public did, and she wasn't about to let him disrespect her sister without consequences. To make matters worse, Jay-Z had been facing cheating allegations, and many believe Solange knew the truth before it became public. Her actions in that elevator weren't just impulsive, they were the result of years of bottled up emotions, watching her sister deal with the pressures of being married to a man whose loyalty was constantly in question.
Change behavior, one, and then also you have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge the pain. You have to let that person have their say.
And don't forget, Mathew Knowles later spoke about the incident, calling Solange a firecracker and saying he wasn't surprised by her reaction at all. He knew Solange was always the one who would speak up, even when Beyoncé chose to remain silent. If Mathew, who was already skeptical of Jay-Z from the start, wasn't shocked by Solange's outburst, that tells you everything you need to know.
Beyonce's a very, very private person, though. When you saw Beyoncé, Solange, and Jay-Z and the security in the elevator thumping, What was your reaction to that?
I have to tell you, I laughed so hard.
This elevator incident added fuel to the fire of all those rumors surrounding Jay-Z's character. If Solange was willing to go that far in public, imagine what she had witnessed privately. Could it be that this was her way of standing up for Beyoncé, who had been dealing with the weight of Jay-Z's actions for years? Or was it a sign that things had finally reached a breaking point for the Knowles family?
I laughed so hard because, you know, if you know Solange, that's Solange. That's Solange. You just never know what you're gonna get. Firecracker. Don't know where she get that from. You know, then Beyonce would be in the corner, quiet, just kind of like, when y'all finish, let me know.
Jay-Z later tried to brush the whole thing off, calling it a one-time disagreement and claiming he and Solange were like siblings. But fans weren't buying it. Many pointed out that this wasn't just a family argument. This was a power move by Solange to defend her sister from someone she knew was bad for her. And with Mathew initially opposing their relationship and Gene Deal's recent revelations, it's hard not to wonder what else the Knowles family has been keeping quiet about all these years.
Hey guys, I'm Heather Gardner, and honestly, I am not surprised that Jay-Z is finally opening up about the incident. His newest album, 444, was very revealing about his personal life with Beyoncé, his kids, and his past scandals. This time, though, we don't have to decipher through the lyrics. Jay talked directly about Elevator Gate.
Amidst all these new allegations swirling around Jay-Z, one person who has been conspicuously silent is Mathew Knowles. While Tina Knowles has been spotted making appearances with Jay-Z and Beyoncé, Mathew has been completely absent from the public eye. He hasn't even offered a single comment on the situation. Nothing to confirm, deny, or defend. But here's where things get even more suspicious. According to our inside sources, Mathew has allegedly been silenced by Jay-Z. Word is, he was threatened and told to stay far away from the allegations because his involvement could spell serious trouble for Jay. Think about it. Mathew is the one person who truly knows how old Beyoncé was when she and Jay-Z first got together. If he were to speak up, it could poke even more holes in Jay-Z's already shaky narrative, especially given the timeline discrepancies that people have been questioning for years. And let's not forget, Mathew wasn't exactly on board with Jay-Z dating his daughter from the start. If he was opposed to their relationship back then, it makes you wonder what he might reveal now, especially with Jay-Z already fighting off legal battles tied to even more disturbing allegations. Keeping Mathew quiet might just be Jay-Z's way of preventing a potential bombshell from dropping at the worst possible time. The fact that Mathew hasn't spoken out, despite being vocal about other controversies in the past, raises a lot of questions. Was he genuinely silenced? Did he agree to stay out of it for the sake of his family? Or is he simply waiting for the right moment to reveal what really went down during those early years of Jay and Beyoncé's relationship? One thing's for sure, Mathew's silence speaks louder than any words he could say. Jay-Z has long been seen as a rap mogul, a business genius, and one half of one of the most iconic power couples in the world. But these new revelations could tarnish that image. If more people come forward to back up Gene Deal's claims, it could lead to serious questions about Jay-Z's past and how he navigated relationships early in his career. And let's not forget, this isn't just about Jay-Z. It's about the culture of the music industry during the late 90s and early 2000s. Gene's exposing more than just one man. He's shedding light on an entire era that many would rather forget. So, what do y'all think? Is Gene Deal exposing some long-buried truths about Jay-Z? Or is this just another round of industry gossip? And if Mathew Knowles was really pressured into staying silent, what does that say about the power dynamics in the music world? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more wild industry stories. You definitely don't want to miss what's coming next.